They say temptation is quiet at first. It doesn't bang on the door or scream in your face. It tiptoes in, slowly, until you feel it breathing down your neck when you're all alone. That's what it did to me. And that's how I found myself knocking on my boss's bedroom door at nearly midnight, wearing nothing but a short silk robe and a heart full of need. My name is Amber. I'm 25, single, and I work as a live-in nanny for a beautiful family in Miami. The mom, Vanessa, is sweet and kind, maybe too kind. She treated me like a younger sister. Her husband, Mr. Blake, he was something else entirely. Tall. Broad shoulders. Salt and pepper hair. And a deep voice that made my legs feel weak whenever he spoke my name. Mr. Blake wasn't just handsome. He was powerful. The kind of man who walked into a room and made everyone else feel small. And the way he looked at me sometimes, just a second too long, just a little too low, I knew I wasn't the only one feeling something dangerous. It all started the night Vanessa left for a week-long business trip. The house became too quiet, too cold. I was supposed to feel responsible, but I only felt something rising inside me, something hot and reckless. I couldn't sleep that night. I tossed and turned, wearing that tiny robe I never dared to wear before. My room was across the hall from his, and with every minute that passed, my heart beat faster. Was it crazy? Probably. But I didn't care anymore. I needed him. So, I tiptoed down the hallway. The house was dark, silent. Only the soft hum of the fridge downstairs broke the silence. I stood in front of his door. My fingers trembled. My breath caught. My nipples were hard beneath the silk, brushing against the fabric as I lifted my hand. And I knocked. Just once. Lightly. I almost hoped he wouldn't hear. But he did. The door creaked open, and there he stood. Shirtless. Sleepy-eyed. And absolutely breathtaking. "Amber," he said, voice low and rough. "Is everything okay?" I swallowed hard. My cheeks burned. My thighs pressed together. I couldn't sleep, I whispered. "Can I come in?" He hesitated for a moment. His eyes dropped to my robe. My bare legs. The curve of my hip. His jaw clenched, but he stepped aside. I walked in. The room smelled like him, wood, spice, and something masculine I couldn't name. He closed the door behind me. "What's wrong?" he asked. I turned to face him. My heart pounded. "I don't know how to say this," I said softly. "But I've been thinking about you, for weeks." His eyes darkened. He took a slow step toward me. "Amber, you know this is wrong." "I know," I whispered. "But I don't care." He stood just inches away now. I could feel the heat from his body. His chest rose and fell slowly. I saw the way his eyes dropped to my lips, then lower. "Do you want this?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes." He kissed me. Not gently. Not slowly. It was fire. Raw, deep hunger that poured from his lips into mine. His hands gripped my waist, pulling me against him, and I gasped as I felt his arousal pressing through his shorts. I moaned into his mouth, my fingers digging into his back as he lifted me effortlessly and carried me to the bed. The robe fell open as I lay back, and his eyes roamed over every inch of me. He kissed down my neck, my chest, and lower, his mouth trailing fire as his hands explored every part of me I had dreamed of him touching. I wasn't thinking anymore. I wasn't worried about Vanessa, or right or wrong. All I knew was that I was finally tasting what I'd been craving. And he gave it to me, all night long. Over and over. He made me feel things I had never felt before. The way he touched me, the way he whispered in my ear, the way he held me after, it was more than just a night. It was a door opening, one that neither of us could ever close again. I woke up in his bed, tangled in his sheets, his arm wrapped tightly around me. That was the night it all began. And it wouldn't stop there. We couldn't stop. Thank you to all our amazing subscribers of Ella Infidelity Stories. You are the reason we keep telling these deep, emotional, and steamy stories. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing family. We have so much more to share with you. I woke up with my head on his chest, the soft rise and fall of his breathing beneath me. The sheets were tangled around our legs. My robe was on the floor. And he still had his arm around me like he didn't want to let go. For a moment, I closed my eyes and pretended I was his. Like I belonged there, in his arms, in his bed, in his life. But reality crept in like a chill draft. This was Vanessa's husband. My boss. A man I wasn't supposed to touch, let alone taste the way I did last night. Still, I couldn't regret it. Not one bit. His hand moved slowly up my back. "You okay?" he asked in that deep, sleepy voice that made my belly flutter. I looked up at him, biting my lip. "Better than okay." He smiled. God, that smile. It made my heart skip. "I didn't expect that," he said, brushing a strand of hair from my cheek. "I didn't expect you." I rolled over, straddling him gently, the sheets falling to my waist. I leaned in and kissed him again, softer this time, tasting the lips that had ruined me the night before. "I'm not done with you," I whispered, tracing my fingers down his chest. He groaned softly, his eyes darkening again. "You're dangerous." "No," I whispered as I slid down the bed, kissing his stomach, then lower. "I'm yours." He sat up slightly, but I pushed him back with a smile. He knew what I was about to do, and he didn't stop me. I wanted to please him. I wanted him to remember me every time he closed his eyes. I took him in my mouth slowly, teasingly. His fingers tangled in my hair as I moved, my tongue and lips working in rhythm, my hands holding him gently but firmly. He moaned. A deep, raw sound that told me everything I needed to know. "Amber." He gasped. "God, you feel so good." I didn't stop. I gave him everything, slow, deep, wet, and intense. I wanted him to lose control. And he did. His body tensed. He let out a loud groan and gripped the sheets with both hands. I swallowed everything, looking up at him the whole time, and when I crawled back to lie beside him, he pulled me close and whispered something I'll never forget. No one has ever made me feel like that." I blinked. "Not even your wife?" He didn't answer right away. Then he looked at me, serious and vulnerable all at once. "Vanessa and I haven't been close in a long time. She's busy. Always tired. We barely even kiss anymore." I bit my lip. I didn't want to feel sorry for him. I didn't want to feel anything, but it was too late. "She's lucky," I whispered. "No," he said, brushing his thumb across my lips. "I'm the lucky one." We stayed in bed for hours. Talking. Kissing. Touching. Making love again and again like we were trying to make up for all the lonely nights we both had lived through. But the morning light eventually crept through the curtains. And with it came the guilt. I slipped out of his bed and back to my room just before the kids woke up. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at myself, my swollen lips, the red marks on my neck, the glow in my cheeks. I looked like a different woman. A woman who had crossed a line she couldn't uncross. And the craziest part? I wanted to cross it again. That day, we tried to act normal. Breakfast, school drop-off, cleaning the house. But the looks we gave each other were full of fire. In the kitchen, he brushed past me and whispered, "You're all I've been thinking about." In the laundry room, he kissed me against the door when no one was looking. By evening, we couldn't keep our hands to ourselves. I found myself back in his room before dinner, and he pulled me onto his lap like I belonged there. That week, while Vanessa was away, we became addicted to each other. We did it in the shower. On the living room couch. In his office. Even by the pool late one night, under the stars. It wasn't just sex. It was passion. Lust. Hunger. Every kiss was deeper. Every touch more urgent. We were playing with fire, and we both knew it. But we couldn't stop. We didn't want to stop. I was in his arms again that night. His strong hands gripped my waist as he pushed into me slowly, deeply, like he was trying to memorize the feel of me. Our bodies moved together in perfect rhythm, sweaty and tangled in the sheets. Every moan that escaped my lips was swallowed by his mouth, every gasp was answered by a thrust that made me forget where I was. It was more than lust now. It felt dangerous. It felt like I belonged in his bed, like I'd always been meant to be here instead of just the nanny. Amber, he whispered, his voice thick with desire. You're driving me insane. I smiled in the dark, still riding him slowly, still holding on to the tension that built between us like a storm. Good, I whispered into his ear. I want to ruin you. And I did. Night after night. We were reckless, desperate, and completely addicted. But the thing about playing with fire? It always finds a way to burn you. It happened on a Thursday. I was in the kitchen in a loose tank top and nothing underneath, humming to myself as I packed the kids' lunchboxes. He had just kissed me against the fridge and whispered that he wanted me in his office once the kids left. I grinned, my body already aching for him. Then the front door opened. And everything shattered. Hey! Vanessa's voice rang through the hallway. I froze. So did he. She was supposed to be back on Saturday. But there she was, walking in with her suitcase and a tired smile like she hadn't just come back early from a business trip that was saving our secret. Oh my God, she said, opening her arms to the kids. I missed you all so much. I turned fast and tried to hide my face, my heart pounding. He stepped forward and hugged her awkwardly, then kissed her cheek. You're back early, he said, trying to sound casual. Yeah, the last 2 meetings were cancelled. I figured I'd surprise everyone. She turned to me. Amber, thank you so much for everything while I was away. I nodded, forcing a smile. Of course. It's always a pleasure. But inside, I was screaming. I didn't even have time to wash the sheets. That afternoon, everything felt off. He barely looked at me. She stayed close to him, wrapping her arms around him, laughing loudly like she was reclaiming her place. I felt invisible. Forgotten. But later that night, after everyone went to bed, I heard a soft knock on my door. It was him. I opened it slowly. He stood there in sweatpants and a tight shirt, eyes full of guilt and hunger. She kissed me, he said. And I hated it. I didn't say a word. I just pulled him inside and locked the door. He took me right there, pressed against the wall. Fast. Rough. Silent. His hand over my mouth as he buried himself deep inside me, over and over, until I came undone in his arms, clawing at his back. I missed you, he groaned into my neck. I've been thinking about your mouth, your hands, your voice. Everything. I dropped to my knees and took him into my mouth again, just like I had that first time. He leaned back against the wall, groaning, his fingers gripping my hair. Amber, OF***K, he gasped. You feel better than anything I've ever known. No one has ever done this to me. His words made me go deeper, slower, teasing him until his knees almost gave out. He came with a loud moan, trying to stay quiet, but I knew she'd hear something if she was awake. Afterward, he kissed me like he didn't care anymore. But I did. I cared too much. I should have stopped. I should have walked away that night when he came to my room and kissed me like I was the air he breathed. But I didn't. I let him back into my body. Into my heart. And deeper into my soul. We made love like we were starving. His mouth on my skin. My legs wrapped around his waist. My moans buried in his chest. Afterward, we lay in silence, just listening to each other's breathing. "I'm falling for you," he whispered. "And I don't know how to stop." I blinked in the dark, not knowing what to say. But I felt it too. And maybe that's what made us sloppy. Because the very next day, everything fell apart. It started with a phone left on the kitchen counter. His phone. He was upstairs with the kids. I was washing dishes. Vanessa, his wife, was supposed to be out with her friend for brunch. But she came back early. I didn't hear her at first. She walked in quietly, her heels clicking softly on the hardwood floors. She paused when she saw the phone buzzing on the counter. Curious, she picked it up. I turned just in time to see her face go pale. She was reading a message. A message from me. "Last night was everything. I still taste you in my mouth. I want more." Her fingers tightened around the phone. Her eyes slowly turned to me. Silence. Then, "What the hell is this?" I froze, the plate in my hand slipping and shattering in the sink. Vanessa. But she was already marching up the stairs, phone in hand, rage written all over her face. I followed her in a panic, my heart pounding in my chest. She burst into their bedroom, where he was helping the kids change. "You've been king the nanny?" He turned, stunned. "Vanessa, wait." She threw the phone at him. "Don't you dare lie to me." The kids stared, confused and scared. "Get out," she said, pointing at me. "Vanessa. Get out of my house." I backed away, trembling, humiliated, heartbroken. I packed my bags in 10 minutes. He tried to follow me out. Tried to speak. But she stood between us like a storm, shielding what was left of her pride and her family. And I walked out. Just like that. The affair was over. But the damage? It was done. Weeks passed. I found a small apartment and picked up part-time work elsewhere. I kept my head down. Tried to forget the way he made me feel. The way he touched me like I was the only woman in the world. One night, my phone buzzed. It was him. "She's gone. Took the kids. Filed for divorce. I lost everything, except the memory of you." I stared at the screen for a long time. Tears welled in my eyes. I wanted to reply. I wanted to say I missed him. That I still dreamed about him. That I still felt him inside me. But I didn't. I turned off my phone and curled up in bed. Because some love stories are meant to be short, sinful, and unforgettable. Like ours.